Drink it in, man.
Deep left side, Kerryon picks up a block at the 5, at the 2, at the 1 to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Drink it in, man.
Get up, Stafford throws. It is end zone. Caught! Oh, baby, what a catch! Kenny Galladay, you're a freak! What a catch! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread!
I love the Lions! Say it with me! I love the Lions!
Drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid, what is going on, everybody? We are back on a Monday, back for some fantasy football flavor, and I got Chuck Dog in the building, ready to talk some fantasy football. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, Oakley? Let's get this thing rolling.
Let's do this thing. Happy to have you back, man. We got a great show today. We're going to talk about what if we were the GM? What if we were the GM of our favorite team? What would that feel like? And we got a little surprise for the people. We're going to talk some fantasy rookies, running backs, wideouts, tight ends. And then at the end, Chuck, man, I'm going to put you on the spot. You're going to be doing a live draft, and I'm going to talk you through it, and we're going to get your picks, and the people are probably going to beat you up after. Because did that magazine come in the mail yet?
No, it's on its way.
Oh, boy. Okay. So sound like a plan, man. You ready to get into this?
Yeah, we can do this.
So Chuck Dog, I was thinking about what we should do for the show, and I promoted it a couple times. Reality Sports Online. You know, this site I still doesn't think to get the pub it deserves. Not many people, know about it unless you've done it. And once you've done it, you're hooked. It's a fantasy site where you get to do sign contracts, basically run a team as close as you can to a real NFL team. So last year, I was, they were kind of expanding the site, doing all this stuff, and I was like, oh man, you know what would be cool? I bet we could replicate like the NFL, because it lets you do 32 teams, it lets you do multi-year contracts, it has a real NFL salary cap. So I'm like, what if I jumped on SproTrack, I think it's called. It's the site I use for all the dollars and cents and things in the NFL. I'm like, what if we just replicated all the players' contracts and then had GMs for all those teams? You could basically be the GM of your own favorite team. That'd be crazy. That'd be super unique and fun. So sure enough, I got a couple buddies to help me sort of build it out on the website, and I took ownership of the Detroit Lions, Chuck, man. Probably my lifelong dream. I mean, good luck Bobby Quinn is there. But, man, if I had my seat, I'd be right there, where he's at running that squad. But it's about as close as I can get, or probably will get. So I was going to talk a little bit about that. But I think I'm going to do a bonus show because there's trades. There's some awesome players I've acquired from my Lions. But, Chuck, we've said on the podcast you're a Cowboys guy. Man, if you could kick Jerry Jones out of his chair, take his billions, and run the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, would that just be a dream of a lifetime, or would you make that thing happen, or what?
Oh, man, that would be so sweet if I was the GM of the Dallas Cowboys. Take some of these guys that I've been longing for them to grab, and, Jerry always likes to – sometimes he used to like to sign the checks where he'd give these guys all these contracts, and, I was like, hey, that's too much for that guy, but – he learned in the long way, and now his kids kind of taking it over and doing a better job. But, yeah, I would love to take over for the Cowboys.
So here's my thing. Like, the people will get to see it when I break it down. Like, right out the get-go, I love to trade. I mean, you can say, yeah, this is fantasy football. But when you really see some of these deals, and like I say, with this website, you do, like I said, we matched up real contracts. Like, when I'm trading for a player, that's that real player's deal, because we started it that year. So you're not getting a crazy price. You're not getting a cheap discount. Like, you're getting the real player's contract, the real years, all that type of stuff, as well as bringing them on to the Lions roster where I already got, $100 million worth of players that I got to manage. So, I mean, what I always goof on Grifka, we might as well get to the triple G, to give Grifka grief. The reason I give him so much grief is like, Grifka can't do this. Like, he talks all this noise, but when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of putting him on the line, He's out blowing dandelions and sitting on the seesaw with his kids because he knows that like if we're writing his picks down, he doesn't have a clue. If I told him to balance the budget, I mean, we're gonna be bouncing checks left and right. So like, you think that if I put you on the spot, you could hold this down and make some good deals? Because once you make these deals, when you're the GM, I mean, they're there. We can look back and say, man, Chuck, what were you doing trading for that guy?
Yeah, I think I would do a pretty admirable job. You're going to have some mistakes, but as long as you don't make them too costly, you'll be all right.
Yeah, you can't get them all right. The other cool thing about this site, man, is deep rookie drafts. So we were like, hey, how can we make the rookies as close to NFL as we can? So we go 5 rounds deep for rookies, 32 teams, and all positions are the same. So you can draft a defender, you can draft any offensive skill position. They all score a ton of points. Because we want to, be able to take a defensive end in the top 10 and still have it be valuable. So, and then we do 4-year contracts for rookies. So basically, if you took a rookie this year in that draft, he's going to come up and be a free agent when he's really a free agent. And you can extend him just like you can in the NFL. Like you give him that 5th-year option. And then after that, if you want to talk money, you can try to keep him. So we tried to make that as real as possible. And the other cool part is like, since we did the contract so tight, like, when all these free agents came up this year, like when we do the auction for this, like it's pretty much the legit free agents that got signed earlier a couple months ago by NFL teams. So you're really looking at, real type stuff, which is really fun. So,
Sounds pretty sweet, Derek.
Yeah, man, it was a ton of work getting it going. And I think, the Kool-Aid drinkers are going to love it when I do a bonus show with all, like I say, what you hit on was perfect. Like we're always sitting here in our lazy boy, talking about, I would have done this. I would have picked that guy. Well, now it's time, basically with a little bit of wiggle room because, it is fantasy football. But I came right out of the gate trading, made a couple big trades to acquire some assets, made some great deep draft picks. I think that'll work out. And then this year I came out swinging again and made another big deal that I think is really going to propel the Oak Lions to the promised land this year. So we'll have to see. But, man, I think you do good with the Cowboys. But like I say, I love putting people on the spot, saying, don't tell me 3 years, 5 years later who you took. Like, who are you taking right now when the clock is running out? That's how you know.
Yeah, yep.
So, like I say, I'll do that on a how about we talk some rookies, man? How about we talk some Dynasty, basically fantasy football rookies? Pick your brain on kind of what do you look for in a Dynasty rookie, and then we'll break it down by position. Like when you're in that draft and you're looking at these guys that haven't played it down in the NFL, like what are you looking for, and what really says, oh man, that guy's got to be on my team. He's going to be a stud.
Well, what I look for is I look for their age. I look at the kind of productivity they have, or what they may offer. The potential is huge for me in dynasty leagues. It's a little different than the 1-year start overs where, you can pick up somebody that's could be good that year. Where on some of these dynasties, you want to grab somebody that may not be, great this year. They could still be great this year, but, they may not be great this year. But in the coming years, they're going to be somebody that could be an anchor of your team.
Yeah, when you said age, like, so do you have a feel for kind of how old these guys are when you're going in thinking like, hey, if one guy's 21 and the other guy's 24, you're going to obviously lean towards the younger guy?
Usually it all depends. Like I said, if the 24-year-old is a rookie that will start now, and it will be a part of your starting lineup, then it's okay to take him. But if the 21-year-old, and you already have a set starting lineup, but the 21-year-old is going to be good, in maybe a year or two to come, then that's where I would do. I would go after the 21-year-old because that way he'll be an anchor in my lineup later on.
Yeah, I really look at it when it comes to running backs, man. I feel like they have still that short shelf life. So like if I'm picking running backs, especially in these deep dynasties where I'm getting, 32 teams, 18, 12 teams, whatever it may be, I gotta have that rookie running back be young. His injury risk is high, but Chuck, talk to me about, remember back in the day, it was kind of like you got to load up on running backs, and then all these geniuses thought that they were just going to get like a bunch of receivers and not worry about running back. Like, I still feel like you got to be stacked deep at running back to really win in fantasy football.
I think you do. I think you still kind of do. Even though receivers are the bread and butter of fantasy football these days because of all the highlights and the passing teams. But yeah, I still think you have to have a stud running back anchoring that your team. I think that's key to a lot of the teams that I see that are winning all the time, or in the playoffs constantly, are the teams that have a stud running back.
So you're leaning wide receivers, huh?
Well, I think today's NFL kind of makes you lean towards wide receivers. I mean, if it's like a pass-happy league. You only have 2 or 3 teams that are, run first.
Yeah, well, this is another reason I'm glad I get you on the show, Chuck, so I can educate you a little bit. Because you say it's a pass-happy league. You say, it's the bread and butter receivers. Did it ever cross your brain that there's a lot more receivers out there than that are good? Because finding a good 3-4 running backs where you can not only be good in your starting lineup but be good in depth, that's finding diamonds in the rough. I can go get a receiver in the late rounds that might turn out to be an absolute beast. I'm not going to find a top 10 running back late in the draft. They're gone, early for a reason.
Well, Derek, let me educate you a little bit here too.
Okay.
All right. I think about it. You always find that stud running back late. The running back that Kareem Hunt as one that I drafted like in the.
How's that working out for you?
Well, that first year it worked out perfect.
Yeah, well, congratulations. What'd you get? A second place trophy, and now he's going to be out for another half season. I mean,
well, that was for a start over league, so that was perfect with me.
Plus how'd you get Kareem Hunt late? Who you drafting with, man? Kindergartners or what?
Well, that first year, his rookie year, nobody thought he was going to be that great.
Oh, I snagged him up. Did you just steal a Grifka catchphrase there?
No, I don't steal anybody's catchphrase.
I think you said he's not that great.
Nobody said I never once said that, but that's awesome. Ring that bell.
Oh man, I feel weird. Like the bell is here, but I've tried to ring it a couple times when I use his phrases or other people, but it just doesn't feel right. I mean, when Grifka breaks him out, he gets the bell. Otherwise, I got to keep it sacred, I think.
I got you.
But I don't agree, man. I don't think you're getting running backs late. Like, I mean, that's an example. I mean, but I pretty much had a feeling he was going. I mean, again, I'm doing rookie-only drafts when I'm getting Kareem Hunt, and I was taking him in the top round, in an 8-10 team league. And like I said, that worked out for me. I got Kareem Hunt, used him up right up until flipped him, and then like a few weeks later is when all the stuff came out about him. So that worked out tremendous for me. But I'm just telling you, like, receivers don't get hurt as much either. Not only they get hurt as much, 3, 4, 5 receiver sets. You ever see a 5 running back set? No. Like they have these committees now. So if you just do the math, if there's 5 or 6 good receivers on a team and maybe 2 good running backs, like what do you think you can wait on?
Well, yeah, that's why I told you in the beginning that if you get the one stud anchor running back or the one anchor running back, you could do well in these leagues.
Yeah, but I killed you on that because you can't have one good stud because these guys are a dime a dozen for injuries. So you got to go 3, 4, 5 deep, depending on how deep your league is. You're not rolling in with Zeke, Elliott, 4 good receivers and a bunch of bumskis and getting by. Well,
it all depends. I mean, I got by fine with just Zeke Elliott in one league, and it all depends. I mean, if you get 3 good receivers and then a stud running back, and I had I think Sony Michel as my second running back, and I did just fine.
Yeah, again, like, okay, there you did fine. Like, what about now when his knees are beat up and he's they're going to split time with Damian Harris now? Like, you got to be rolling those running backs through because you can't just sign up a couple and say I'm good. And people think they can get receivers and they're good for a decade. Like, I'm telling you, they might have a little bit less injury and longer shelf life, but I'd rather be deep at the running back position. So we could probably have this argument for days, but
we could, because you just play off the ifs and buts thing. If he got hurt, but he might be hurt, or but this, or if that.
Right. You know what I usually am? The guy that's got the best depth in the league, where all these other people thought they had a good draft after they folded up the draft app, and then by week 3 they're looking around the waiver wire for scraps. While I'm sitting there with 4 or 5 running backs, like not only loving it, but then going, "Oh, you want a running back? Eh? Yeah, that's going to cost you." It's going to cost you big for trade bait. So anyway, let's jump into your top 5 rookie running backs. You got some names or a list for me?
I sure do. I like David Montgomery out of Chicago. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to probably be the top guy as far as rookies this year. I think he'll probably have the most fantasy value. So
these are in order. That's your number 1 guy.
Well, they're not necessarily in order because I haven't really seen them play yet. But as far as from what I hear,
you got to tell the people who. So you just said you think he's going to be the best rookie back. Though.
I think he's going to give you the most fantasy value. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I've got Josh Jacobs from Oakland.
Okay.
Then I've got Miles Sanders from Philly.
Yep.
And then I've got Darrell Henderson from the Rams. And then I'm going to go ahead and be a homer on this one. But I really like Tony Pollard from Dallas.
I love beating you up as I do kind of, ruffling Grifka's feathers. But, I mean, I got pretty much the same list other than Tony Pollard. I mean, he's a good football player. But he's probably about 12th on my list rather than 5th. But, a lot of these names, I think when you come to rookies, you can't really go too crazy with it. It's just a matter of what flavor ice cream you like and what spot you're going to put these guys in. So, I mean, I like Jacobs at the top. I think he's going to catch it and run it and have a bunch of opportunities. I like Sanders number 2. I think, it might take him a little bit to get that job, but once he gets that job, he's an every down beast of a running back, crazy freak athlete too. I got Montgomery at 3 just because of the situation. I hope he breaks his leg in week 2 because he plays for the Bears, and I think he was good in college, but he got the football a million times. He just ran out of pistol and all these crazy formations. So, I mean, he's a good runner, but I don't know how good he'd be in the league. We've got Darrell Henderson after that. Everyone's so high on this guy. I think he's just going to split carries with Todd Gurley. What's your thoughts on Todd Gurley? Are you down on him, or you think all this is all crap about how he's going to get, less carries and his knee's totally ruined? Like, where are you at on that?
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, he is still having issues with that knee. They are saying that his knee, he still can't run full speed on it. He still can't make the cuts that Todd Gurley cuts, and they say his knee still isn't 100%. So.
Yeah. See, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about it. Like, I think he had that gruesome knee injury in college, so you knew there was going to be some tendonitis and some soreness issues as you went along in the league. But, I don't think it's going to be this big deal. I know I even saw a thing on NFL Network where they were interviewing Melvin Gordon, and they asked him some question about Gurley's contract. And Melvin just goes, "Y'all worrying way too much about Todd Gurley. He's going to be all right. He ain't that hurt." And they were like, they're talking about his contract, Melvin. He's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
He gave out all this info. I was thinking, okay, well, I feel good about it now. They must be boys or something. But Melvin's my guy too, man. He's awesome. But I think, Henderson's a good player. I think, that offense is supposed to spread out too. I kind of like getting running backs that are in really good offenses because then they can't load up. They got to deal with all these running backs, crazy formations. So it gives you a lot of space. And then, I don't know. I threw my 5th guy as Damian Harris. I just love this guy in college. His highlights, he's just stout running back. He can catch. He can pass protect. Everyone's talking about if Sony's even a little dinged up, this guy could be the man in New England. I think he's a perfect New England guy. So I put him there. And then my wild card in the running back room was Justice Hill, man. This guy's got electric speed. I don't know what they're doing in Baltimore. It's like a track team, but I don't know if they're going to be playing college rules because they can't really throw it. All their receivers are what Hollywood is super tiny and they got all this speed everywhere. So I don't know what they're doing, but they probably will have a great defense and score a bunch of deep touchdowns. So I think if Justice Hill gets touches, he could be incredible. So that was my short list there. You want to go wideouts? You want me to kick this one off?
You go ahead. I'll rebuttal.
Okay. Top 5 wideouts again. Most of these names aren't going to shock you, but this is sort of how I have them sorted. So I'm going to put NKeal Harry up top. I really thought, man, what a great find again for the Patriots. Like, he's a guy that can run every route. He can catch and run after the fact. He's big and physical. I don't know. There's been some bad reports saying it's taken him a little bit to get up to speed, but I think he'll be really good in the long run. Again, what are you going to get right away is kind of the question. I got to put Hollywood at number 2. This guy, I don't know. I'm not really sold on him because he is so tiny, and I don't like that foot injury. Everyone's acting like, it's just a Liz Frank. Who cares? I'm like, yeah, for a guy that's about 160 pounds and all he does is run fast, Liz Frank foot is not good. So I still have him at 2 just based on ability. I could have put A.J. Brown there, who's my 3rd guy. He, this guy, I don't know. There's something about him. Like, he didn't really produce like people thought maybe towards the end of his college career. But when I looked at him in New Jersey, I'm like, is this little Dez or is this, the guy's just a monster and he can catch and run. He's yoked up and I just really like him. And everyone's down on the Titans. Like, oh, the Titans can't pass. Marcus Mariota's terrible. I'm like, they got a lot of weapons now, and A.J. Brown fits in nicely there, I think. So threw him at 3. Paris Campbell's at 4 for me, simply because of that video. I don't know if you saw it, the inside the draft room with the Colts. Like, They were so happy. They were doing victory laps when they got this guy, so must have some type of plan for him, and he's got crazy speed and athleticism. So I put him there, and it was hard to put him with my boy Debo. I love Debo. He tore up the Senior Bowl, and he's incredible. Perfect spot in San Fran. So that was my top 5 with wild cards of Hakeem Butler, the big nasty freak, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, who I think will be Keyshawn. All he does is score touchdowns, and then I got a little Andy Isabella there too. Not sure what he's going to do, but he's got some upside. So
I don't know how you can say Samuel's name without going Debo. Debo.
Heck yeah, man, incredible.
Yeah, I got Paris Campbell, Debo Samuel, DK Metcalf, NKeal Harry, and A.J. Brown.
Oh, man, I got to rectify my list. All I did was talk about DK before the draft process. I left him off. Yeah, Campbell, you're off. Debo, you're staying. And I gotta move DK probably ahead of even Hollywood. He might move up to 2 for me. That's a clerical error by me.
Yeah, he's got good opportunity out there in Seattle.
Oh, man, perfect spot, like freaking beast. Did you hear any of the podcast where Grifka just kept repeating himself over and over again? All he does is one run. Wow. Oh, you had one good catch. Oh, you played one good game against Alabama. Big whoop. It was like, hey, Grifka, the guy is 6'4". He runs like a 4.3. No one else has ever done that. And
solid muscle.
Oh, my gosh. Like, this guy would have to just absolutely stumble to like be a bust out just based on physical traits alone. And he's not a bad kid. So I don't know. Grifka again, taking the easy way out by trying to say he's going to be terrible because some, Mel Kiper told him that. And then when he's incredible, he'll go, I don't know. He'll tip his cap.
He's got plenty of opportunity in Seattle. He's probably going to come in as the number 1 guy. I can't think of anybody else. Oh, they still got Lockett, I guess. But Lockett's a small scat guy. And
they have a few guys over there, but like you said, they're just going to run him deep. Like, he's the big receiver on that team. So he's got every chance in the world to be good. I really hope it works out. And like I said, I know there's some bust qualities there just based on how big he is. Everyone's like, we can't run routes. Like, how many receivers have there been with his size and speed that run like 6-yard curls, with that perfect precision? You run down the sideline, you chuck it up to them, and they do the rest. I mean, it's not brain surgery here. So
yeah, he has a decent vertical as well too. So.
Oh, crazy! What was your order again? Your order seemed kind of crazy to me.
Well, I did my order out of opportunity, really, in the style of offenses. I had Paris Campbell first because I think the Colts out there are going to really, like you said, they were pretty excited to have him. I think they're going to involve him early, and he's going to take some pressure off of Hilton. And then Debo, I like him out in San Francisco. And I got DK. I got NKeal Harry. Just because I was trying to remember the track record that Belichick has with rookie receivers, and if I remember it correctly, it's not the greatest. But NKeal Harry could be, an exception to the rule because he is a. I think he had the best hands in the draft, didn't he?
Yeah, I'd put him up there. But
Yeah.
what are you comparing him to? I don't think the Patriots have taken a first-round receiver since like the early
That's what I'm
90s.
saying. It's been a while, but they had those two. They had those two like back to back. That's not even in the league. I can't even think their names. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, but they weren't top. Those are like mid-rounders, right? They haven't taken
they
a
were in
top
the first
guy.
round. They were in the first round. I cannot think of that kid's name.
Huh. Okay, yeah, I know it's been a while. That's the reason I promote him, is because like when they take these skill guys, like they do work out because they don't do it. So if they're taking a guy, they must really have a plan for him and love him. So
Yeah.
I don't mind that list. I like the Chuck Dog draft board. I don't know. Like I would say let's promote that magazine again, but I'm a little shaky on it with some of these.
Well, this is without the magazine.
You just got your top 5s and 10s all flipped around for me. Like, I don't know. We need to draft together sometime.
I don't know. I think you're just used to the 1 year wonders. I don't think you do this dynasty stuff.
Yeah, you're right. The 32 team league with about 60 roster spots a team. Yeah, I don't know anything about dynasty. You got any wild cards in the receiver? We got to keep this thing moving.
Yeah, just keep it moving. I mean, I like AJ Brown. I guess I like him.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do pretty well out in Tennessee. It may not be this year, but I think eventually he's going to be the number one guy out that way.
Before we get to tight ends, how does Akeem Butler not make your list? We did a mock draft, and I do recall that you were taking Akeem Butler like mid-first round, and when I laughed at you, you were like, "Oh man, they love him in Indy or wherever you had him pegged to go in round 1," and then he fell to round 4.
If he would have went to Indy, he would have been in my list.
Okay, you think he's better than Funchie over there?
I'm not really going to say it too much because I'm not a real big Michigan fan, but Funches ain't bad. You know, he's not bad. I think Andrew Luck will make him better than what Cam did by all means. But
so what you're saying is he's not that what's that word?
He's not that good or great. However he says it.
Oh, perfect, man. Tight ends. You want to go or you want me to go? Excuse me.
I can go. It's fine.
All right.
I like your boy TJ Hawkinson. I think
you do.
Yep. I think him and Stafford will mesh well, and they'll have he'll have a decent rookie year. Then I like Noah Fant from Denver. I like Irv Smith from Minnesota, and then Jay Sternberger from Green Bay. I know you don't like to talk about him, but there's 3 out of 4 tight ends, good tight ends taken in the NFC North, man. What's going on with that?
Oh, it's crazy. Before we jumped on the show here, Big Mike Roberts from our Lions is going to be wearing a Packer jersey, so I'll be yelling at him on Monday Night Football when I'm at Lambeau, so that's going to be good.
I did see that, yep.
But I like your list a lot, man. It's a tough position. Again, what I was going to ask you about Irv Smith, as I call him. Like, when these guys get picked and you've got a guy in front of them, a veteran, do you take that as sort of a bonus because they're going to run those 2 tights and they're not going to focus on the kid, or do you like it when it's just like they're going to basically be the guy from day one?
I think Irv Smith's going to be part of a 2 tight end formation that Minnesota's probably turning to. They just gave what's his name? Rudolph a contract extension, so obviously he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think they got something up their sleeve for maybe a 2 tight end set, and and I think Irv Smith's going to be involved, and he's a pretty good tight end.
Yeah, I'm with you. Most people that I know are kind of like, they look at all the situation. Oh, what's the situation? Is he going to be the guy right away? Like, you take it based on talent, and you take it based on sometimes it's helpful, like you say, when you're not the guy, because they draw coverage and you can run different formations. So I'm not really scared away by that too much. Just depends on the player.
Yep.
Again, pretty much the same list you had for Grifka. I'm glad we both had TJ Hawkinson, number 1, TD Hawkinson, as we call him. I don't know if you saw our last show. I had to argue with Grifka for another 30 minutes about tight end. I said one thing about tight ends, and the guy went off the deep end, and I was like, I was giving him my numbers. Like, I was about to ask you your numbers for TJ Hawkinson, but you gave those numbers, those kooky numbers on Jason Witten, so you're not a good source because you had Jason Witten at like 710 touchdowns or something you said, which was just out of this world. I mean, if he gets 300,
close, but
if he,
okay.
if he gets 300, I'd be impressed. Yeah, you threw out some crazy numbers for your boy. I know you love him.
I said like 50 catches, 600 yards, and like 4 touchdowns is what I said.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a little bit better. So anyway, I threw out some kind of crazy numbers for Hawkinson, and Grifka went off the deep end, and he just assumed because of his analytical research over the last 10 years that no tight end can get more than 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I was just like, oh boy.
I bet you Hawkinson gets about 60 to 70 catches, close to 800 yards, and he might hit double-digit touchdowns.
Thank you. That's about right where I was at, if not a little bit lower. And Grifka said 40 to 50 catches, maybe 400 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
See, I think Stafford's going to love this guy. I really do. I think Stafford's going to fall in love with him right from the first practice they had together. I think it's going to be a match made in heaven. You know, I really think those two are going to really blend well, and I think he's going to have a good career at Detroit, you know, as long as he doesn't get hurt.
And they're going to spread the football and run it, so that's why everybody's pulling his numbers down too. But even when they used to spread it around, I mean, my argument was if Brandon Pettigrew can get 80 and basically 7 to 8 touchdowns in a second or third year. I mean, this guy's a better football player, better hands, better system, better quarterback at this point. Like, I think that, you know, I don't know. I'm just all about wins, but I just bumped up the numbers too to ruffle Grifka because I knew he can't get over the position or the fact that, hey, maybe there's actually a tight end that's good and maybe he's on the Lions now.
Maybe if Pettigrew would have caught all those balls, he might have had close to 100 catches.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, one of Grifka's favorites. I mean, he's got his jersey and glass at home, I think.
Yeah, he does.
So, again, I had Hawkinson, Fant, Irv Smith, Sternberger I like a lot. And then, I don't know, after that, you're just throwing darts at a wall. Like, Grifka's favorite player ever, Josh Oliver. I think he's a freaking wimp and, probably will never cut it in the NFL. But Dawson Knox out of Buffalo is pretty decent. You know, we got, I don't even know after that. There's just, like I said, I feel like there's a big fall off even after Irv Smith. It's kind of like Sternberger's decent, but after that, you're really just searching for people. So,
yeah, honestly, I only put 4 down on my list.
Yeah, those are good names, though. I'm glad you're right there with the Hawkinson numbers. I know the Kool-Aid drinkers will love that. So I think those are the main rookies. I mean, we could talk quarterbacks, but I think we need to do a live draft, man. I think we need to get you rolling here on a live draft and see what you really can do when the chips are on the line. What do you think about that?
We'll give it a shot, see what happens.
So while I'm getting you in a draft room here, talk to the Kool-Aid drinkers a little bit about the Lions in regards to fantasy. I know you've given some takes on some players, but just give them your overview of maybe a guy or two you think will produce on that Lions roster, and then, you know, maybe a sneaky pick that you think could make it on one of your fantasy teams from the hometown squad there.
Well, I mean, we just got done talking about him. I think Stafford's going to have, as far as fantasy-wise, I think he's going to have a good year having Hawkinson in there. Somebody that he can, you know, big tight end guy right down the middle. I think he's going to really help Stafford out. I think Stafford's going to have, as far as fantasy-wise, I think he's going to have a good year.
Do you like their wideouts? You got Marv and Kenny out there. I mean, I've told Kenny Galladay more than enough. You know, I don't really know where his ceiling is, but I still feel like it's pretty high when it comes to ceiling.
Yep, I like Galladay. I like your young rookie, or not rookie anymore, but your young running back, number 33. He's got my number on, so that's why I like him the most. But,
oh yeah, that is the Chuck Reeves number, the 33.
Yep. But yeah, no, I like Galladay. I think Galladay's one of those receivers that could really break out this year, especially like I said, if you get somebody like Hawkinson, you know, opening up the middle and letting him do his thing, you know, where he's not double covered and all that other stuff. I think he'll have a good year.
Yeah, I'm again, I know we went a little light on Lions talk last week, so while I'm waiting for this thing to fill up, I don't know. I'm I'm really high on the Lions offense. You know, again, Grifka waits till they're good and then tells you they're good. I try to project, and I'm always going to lean towards like my hometown team. You know, I'm not going to go into the year going, oh, we don't really have a chance. We'll win like 3 games. You know, so everything looks good at this point in the year. But one thing I look for in offenses is like, man, when you have weapons all over the place that can draw defense. I mean, basically, I'd rather have 2 really good receivers rather than just 1 stud and a bunch of scrubs. So I like Marv and Kenny out there. You know, they obviously added to the tight end position. Kerryon I love, but I'm really hoping that Theo Riddick comes back to form because he's just disappeared on me, and they're paying him a good amount of money. So I think this
What's up
is
with the Lions babying him?
Theo.
Why did they baby Kerryon last year? Like they limited his carries and.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was that whole like, oh, the kid's got to prove it, but you could see it by like week 2 or 3. This was the guy. I mean, freak injury too when he got hurt. People were like, oh, see, he's not durable. It's like I remember when he went down, it didn't look like much. He kind of just banged his knee wrong. But Kerryon does have to, you know, show almost like, you know, how Stafford has played all these games in a row. You know, Kerryon's got to prove a little bit more that he can be out there consistently. But I mean, it's pretty obvious with the eye test this guy's the real deal, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Theo Riddick, though, is my issue because, remember, wasn't it 2 years ago when he was giving Dallas and all types of teams trouble by, I mean, he was catching 5-6 balls a game. Like, I kept every few games, he was falling in the end zone once or twice. Like, the last couple of years, he's been terrible. And I guess there was a report that came out that Matt Stafford's back was all dinged up. Like, I think this is sort of make or break it for Stafford, but I mean, Grifka just wants to keep him just because he's paid, but I'm like, this guy's got to lead the team and win. I mean, we're at year 10, 11 now. Like, in year 3 or 4, I was saying the same thing. I'll give him time. Like, he'll get it together. Like, I'm getting a little short with my patience, but I think he needs to take a big leap forward, and there's no excuses because when I look at the offense, there's no spot where I just go, oh, man, they got nobody there.
Right.
You know? And there's plenty of NFL teams where you can look and at least find 1 or 2 spots in their offense where they're super paper thin.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I don't know. I remember the Cowboys game with Kerryon Johnson where, you know, he was averaging almost like 6 yards a pop. You know, in the first 2 quarters, I think he had it must have been like 7 carries for 42 yards or something like that, and he was running the ball hard. And then all of a sudden, they just stopped giving it to him, and I was like, and then you could tell how bad the Lions offense stalled, you know, and with Kerryon doing what he was doing, they were doing pretty well. So that's why I was just wondering why they babied him. Give him the rock.
I like to say, man, I loaded up on him in all these leagues, and some people are kind of like, I don't know about him. And I'm like, I think he's a guy that could take a huge leap. If they give him the football, he could stay healthy. And they're talking about throwing it to him more. I mean, the guy can catch. He can do it all. He's pretty elusive, pretty powerful. Remember when he dump trucked your boy, safety? Just put him up looking at the lights like that guy Tyson Fury took to the canvas.
Saginaw's not going to be very happy with you. Okay.
Why? Who'd he put down?
The Jeff Heath? You talking about Jeff Heath?
Oh, yeah. All right. I'd love to talk Lions all day. Chuck, we got you going now, man. We got a fast draft going. We're going 10 teams so we can keep it a little bit realistic. Oh, man, you're picking 10th. You got the back-to-back selections. Woo. Do you like that spot or do you not? Right at the turn there.
It all depends, man. It all depends on who's there.
Right. It's now when you're at 10, we're going to kind of talk to people through this. Be starting here in about 20 seconds. I think there's about 20 seconds per pick, so that give us time to talk it through. I'll give you some options of who's available. Back end of the round is kind of we're in that no man's land. Like you could go running back, but none of the real top studs are there. But if you pass on running back and double dip on wideouts, you're going to be trying to find them later, right? So what's your strategy?
Man, if there is a solid running back and then a top receiver there, that's usually what I would do. But if there's not, I mean, sometimes in these drafts, they just go, 6-7 running backs right in a row. And I'm like, man, it doesn't matter who I take at this time.
Right. So your boy Zeke went at 2, Saquon at 1. Now, in this league, you have to have 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers is sort of your starters, 1 tight end, 1 quarterback. So pretty basic in these leagues, which, again, these are super fun. If you guys don't know, download the draft app. You can do these fast drafts and probably take us, 5-10 minutes, and it's best ball. So whoever Chuck picks, There's no substitutions during the year. There's no like picking up on the waiver wire. The computer will play your best players at the starting spots. Everybody else doesn't count. And but if you get an injury, you're stuck with that guy for the year. He's going to get you goose eggs. So gotta have some depth there too. So just going through Zeke, McCaffrey, Kamara, David Johnson all went after Saquon.
Wow, all running backs, huh?
Yep, we're at pick 6 here. D-Hop off the board.
Hey.
So what do you want me to queue up here? Running backs, wideouts. You're not going to any other position, huh? We got
no, not right now.
We got Melvy on the board. Devontae Adams just went.
Damn.
So you got Melvy, LeVeon Bell, my boy Joe Mixon, Michael Thomas is there, Julio, Odell. You got one pick before your selection, man. What are you thinking?
Well, Melvin Gordon's still there. I'm going after Melvin Gordon. I think he's underrated.
Oh, just went him and Kelsey. So Lev's the top running back. He is there at this pick. Or you can go double dip of Thomas and Beckham or Thomas and Julio. You got 10 seconds.
Let's go. Let's take Le'Veon.
All right, I got you.
Let's take Odell.
Lev and Odell, my man. That's what I would have done. I didn't even coach you up too much on that, but Lev, Odell, I don't think you can go wrong. 2 top talents at premier positions. You got one each. I love it. James Conner went after that. I won't talk all these picks through, but these first couple rounds are usually the most important. So
okay.
We'll see. We may get you through a couple rounds here, and then I can maybe leave the results in our show notes or something like that on how it all shakes out. So funny, the guy that has the pick 2, he just has this hilarious picture of Stephen A. Smith as his logo. It's like looks like Stephen A. is just like, huh? Say what? I'm not a big Stephen A., but I catch myself watching First Take more than I should, and like he does make me laugh. Like the what's the other dude? Oh geez, I don't know why it's escaping me. But so you got Stephen A. and you got the boxing guy.
Yeah, I know. I can't. Max
Kellerman, yeah. So
yeah.
Max always gets dogged on by everybody, but I mean he has decent takes. Sometimes he's frustrating. What I hate though, and people might hate this take, but the like super hot lady that is the mediator, she's like the most annoying person ever. Like she just when the producer says time to go to commercials, she thinks if she gets louder that they'll stop talking. It's just like it's like all you're doing is making me want me to turn off my TV by you just yelling at the screen. So yeah, she's brutal. That Molly. Did you know she's married to Jalen Rose?
No. Really?
Yeah. Congrats, Jalen. But gosh,
right?
Hopefully she's not that annoying. And
I should probably try to talk basketball with him too.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. You've got let's see, where are you at here? So you took Odell in the top round too, huh?
Yeah, I got Le'Veon and Odell right now, so I got two stud guys, I think. So we'll see what got coming up.
I love it. I thought I missed your pick because it's taken so long. All these picks are coming through, but you still got a little ways to go here. So I'll give you a little update. Top guys on the board. You're about 6-7 picks away. We've got Mike Evans is still out there if you like him. Amari is out there.
Amari Cooper still out there?
Yeah. He's pretty much down the list too. I'm surprised. So you got one of each. Like, are you leaning one way or the other? Just because sometimes I know you don't pick positions, but like for me, I'm kind of leaning one way or the other based on scarcity. You know, who's going to be there?
Right. I guess I would like Ertz is gone. I would imagine like the top tight ends are gone now.
Oh, let me see. No, they're probably still there. Yeah, Zach Ertz is there.
Is he? What round are we going into? Third?
This will be, you'll be picking at the back of the third, top of the fourth. So Ertz, OJ Howard, Ingram are all there. Hunter Henry too.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you, even though I don't really like taking tight ends this early, but if Ertz is still there, Ertz is just a fantasy machine.
Yeah, he gets
so many catches and so many yards and
ton of targets. He just went one of my best guys that I love, and he's falling. He's great value, I think. 3-6 in this draft. Leonard Fournette. Oh my, this guy is a monster. Everyone forgot what a beast he is because he is a kind of a wimp. He's always hurt, always has foot issues, but he's an absolute monster. Oh, Amari Cooper at 3-7.
Oh, no.
Yep. All right, so you're a couple picks away, man.
What
you
do we
want
have for receivers left?
All right, let's go wideouts. Adam Thielen, T.Y., A.J., Diggs, Edelman, Cooks, Galladay.
Thielen still there?
Yep.
Wow.
Freeman, Aaron Jones, Jacobs, Kerryon on the running back side. 10 seconds.
I'm up?
Yep.
All right. Give me Thielen.
Boo. I hate that guy.
And then who you say was in the running backs?
Top backs, Freeman, Aaron Jones, Jacobs, Kerryon, Sony, Philip Lindsay. Your top tight end is OJ.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna pick this for you, Derek.
The good OJ. Okay. Kerryon.
Give me Kerryon.
I love this draft, except for Adam. Adam Thielen is a guy. Let me give a little bit of a rant on Adam Thielen.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I like him.
So Adam Thielen comes out of nowhere. He's this workman. What's he, undrafted? Got kicked around the league. All of a sudden, he thinks he's good. So he has a decent year. Then last year, oh, man, wow, 100 yards a game. Big whoop till he comes and plays big play, shuts him down. Then they stumbled at the end of the year. I don't know. I don't see what this guy does so amazingly. Like, he has had a couple good years, but what about all those years where nobody even knew who he was? Like, I'm not taking him high in my fantasy leagues. I'm going to go out and get that athletic freak, that guy that has crazy upside rather than Adam Thielen. Like, I love Stefan Diggs way more than Adam Thielen on the Vikings. I think Diggs could be like the next little Antonio, just catching everything, run and catch, over the top, everything.
Yeah, he's definitely more freak of an athlete than what Thielen is, but Thielen just has a consistency that you want. You know, somebody that's going to give you the points every week. Where Diggs, he disappears, and then you find him again. You know, somewhere down the road.
See, this is my thing though. Like, Griff always gets on me. Oh, okay, you're ESPN. You just love the guys on ESPN. Yeah, man. When I'm playing fantasy football, I like the guys that are flash and dash, big yards, got the spotlight. I'd much rather take them than meat and potatoes. Like you just said, oh, he's consistent. It's like, I don't know. Some people go for that, not me. I'm swinging for the fences.
If I got Thielen as my number 2 wideout, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like putting just putting Odell and Thielen there frustrates me because like Odell needs a better running mate than Thielen. I don't know. It just feels wrong to me.
Didn't Thielen lead the NFL in catches last year?
I think so, but I still hate him.
Yeah.
And even if he was on the Vikings, I wouldn't like him because he's this like middle-sized white receiver that doesn't do anything amazing. He's just like, oh, big wow, you put up 8 catches for 101. Oh, like I know that's good, but it's still just.
You don't like Edelman either? Puts
me to sleep. Edelman has that flash because he's with Tom Brady and he's a dog, you know, but I wouldn't take him that high either, especially now. He's old hat, man. Maybe like 6 years ago, I'd be taking Julian Edelman.
No, I'm happy with Thielen there. That was pretty simple for me.
Okay. Well, 3 out of 4 ain't bad.
For you, so.
Yeah. Well, that was tremendous value, I thought. Freeman was up high. Who everyone forgot, Devontae Freeman's a freaking great running back too for the Falcons, but Kerryon's got the higher upside. So, all right, you're coming around again. What do you want?
Is Mahomes gone?
Let's see. The other great part about this app, man, it is really easy to kind of see who's out there. It makes it really simple. Andrew Luck, Aaron Rodgers, Watson, Mayfield.
Oh, I'm going Luck for sure.
Definitely quarterback, though?
Yeah, I think Andrew Luck's a good time. What are we in the 6th round, 5th round? Where are we at?
This is last pick of the 5th. You got
Andrew Luck at this high or this mid round is good.
Another rookie mistake, man. You wait on the QBs. Wait, and wait some more. All right, took Andrew Luck for you. Your next pick. What position would you like, sir? 20 seconds.
What do we have for wide receivers?
Wideouts: Godwin, Lockett, Watkins, Kupp, Mike Williams.
I don't like any of those guys. What do we have for our tight end?
Oh, jeez. OJ.
Give me OJ Howard.
Oh, I got him with a half a second left, man. Whew, good thing you got me on the turning the card in because anybody else would have screwed that up, but I got him just barely.
I like OJ Howard. He has good productivity and Jameson Winston seems to really like him.
See, but this again is where I got to school you. Like, you don't take quarterbacks in a 10-team league like this where you only got to start 1-1. You don't take a QB or a tight end in these upper middle rounds because you can just wait. You stack up running backs and receivers till they're off the shelves, and then you take a quarterback and you still get a stud.
No, not with Andrew Luck. And if Andrew Luck was gone, I would agree with you. Even though I didn't like any of those receivers that were down there, but.
What's the difference if you get Andrew Luck at the bottom of the 5th and I get Ben Roethlisberger with like my second to last pick?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that's all I do. I just wait it out and then I get someone. I love Deshaun Watson. I love him on my team. Mayfield I love to have, but I'm not going to overspend for those guys and short myself at the other positions where not only is injury more, but you need more. You got to start 3 receivers, man. You only got 2, and then you went and got a quarterback where we can get at a bargain price later.
We'll just have to agree to disagree. Because I think there's a top tier of quarterbacks that you get if they're in the middle rounds. I think you can go after them and be okay with it. But
okay, I respect you. I don't know if I like the take because I love the getting in the drafts so people would start reaching for QBs early because all I think is, oh man, there's a running back or a wideout that slipped to me or a tight end that I need because tight end is tricky too. Like I'm waiting on tight end, but tight end is much more to me like there's a breaking point where I got to go get one. Whereas like I know almost if I wait till my last pick in a 10-teamer, before you get to kickers and stuff, I can still get a starter. I can still get a pretty top flight quarterback. In my opinion, but like you said, it sounds like you're definitely set on because there are the elite, the middle, but I don't know. There's a big difference, based on how I've played.
Probably the drop off after Howard's probably insane. I would think.
Let's take a look at the tight end. That's the other thing. OJ Howard. I don't know what to feel about him. I loved him coming out of college. He just kind of hasn't done much, and now what do you get with Bruce Arians? I don't know, but I mean he's a good player. Now we're looking at Cook, Ebron, Vance, and Njoku. See, I would have took, what I took that last round?
Cook.
No, that last round when you were taking QBs and tight ends. I would have taken my boy Mike Williams with the Chargers. This guy's due to break out. He's an absolute beast size-wise. He scored like 10 touchdowns, barely even played last year. He's going to get way more opportunities, and the only thing I don't like about him is he kind of has those lingering back issues, and I don't want him getting like a tender back and being out 6-7 weeks as he's been known to do. But if he's healthy, that's my guy that you get kind of in those middle rounds. Everybody forgot about how good he was. Remember him coming out of Clemson? Oh, my. He's incredible. Now everyone just forgot he existed. All right, 2 more picks till you're up. Where are you going?
Hey, is this got like defenses and kickers and everything?
No, just those skill spots we're doing. Yep. Right. You're up now, 30 seconds. So we've got –
what do we got?
Let's go back to wideouts. Allen Robinson, Landry, Boyd, Jeffrey, Fuller, Marvin, Kirk.
Who are the top ones? It was Landry and who?
10 seconds. Robinson, Landry, Tyler Boyd, Alshon.
Give me Robinson.
Just under the wire again. Now we got to go. We got our 3 receivers, so we got starters. But again, we need some depth on this team. Running back, you only got 2. We should go there.
All right.
Tariq Cohen, Miles Sanders, Guice, Ronald Jones.
You know who I really like is Guice.
I
think he's going to be a beast out there in Washington.
All right. Because you said it and because we don't have much time left for taking Guice. I loved Guice coming out last year. I told everybody, he was like 21 years old, coming in as a rookie. He was big, had the size. Everyone was goofing on him about he's this weirdo. I didn't ever see anything like that. Remember, it was like the first week or 2, he showed out in the preseason, and then boom, injured. Now, because Adrian Peterson did a little something, everybody, what's wrong with Adrian Peterson talking about 2,000 yards? I lost all respect for the man when he said that. I loved the guy. I wanted him on the Lions a couple of years ago. I was like, let's go get AP, and he's got a couple good years left. Now this fool's talking about, I might get 2K. I'm like, okay, what? You might go up to Walmart and pick it up, or pick up the video? I mean, you ain't getting 2K of nothing.
He should just be talking like, hey, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, maybe you'll have a good
team.
a few good runs here or there, score a couple touchdowns. Whoopee, like that's all we need. And I'm worried Guice will get pushed out. Maybe AP has a couple of games, he's still coming back from the knee, and they get away from him. But
Right.
I'd feed Guice, and then I even took Bryce Love way late in drafts, who I told Griff I hated, which I kind of did, but he was such good value. I thought roll the dice on Bryce Love being decent there once he's healthy.
I like Guice. I liked him so much that I drafted him in my keeper league. I drafted him like in the 3rd round, got him, and then put him right on injured reserve. So that way I can keep him through the year and just see what happens once this year comes around.
Oh, definitely. You gotta hang on to a guy until they prove that he's, I don't know, just like not worthy of playing or kind of, doesn't come back healthy. I mean, you definitely stash him and
Right.
he could return to be an absolute stud. Like that's the thing about fantasy too, man. Every year, like people get like really good football players either have a down year or they're hurt, and people just write them off. It's like, did you forget how good he was when he was up and running? I mean, I write off like the old injured guys or the rookies that you liked 3 years ago and still haven't done anything. Like, yeah, we'll write them off at some point, but not a guy that was a beast that had maybe a stumble and now you're like, he won't do anything in Washington. It's like, are you kidding me? So as long as his head's screwed on straight too. I don't know what all those rumors were about him being, I guess like the Lions didn't even have him barely on their draft board. I mean, I was like,
right.
They said they didn't like his personality or something. I was like, I saw him do a bunch of interviews, seemed like a really good kid, but we'll see. So you're coming up here. Let me see how many.
What are our reserves here? What are we doing?
Yeah. Gosh, man. Some of these people are taking like the whole clock. So we're at, we're going to get to, let's see where you're at. 8, 9. This is about the midpoint. So let's go ahead and just, how about we take these last 2 picks and then I'll finish it out and leave that. I'll either leave it or maybe I'll make it a bonus show because we're at runs 9 and 10. This thing goes to 18 rounds. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. So next time we'll do this. We'll do like a 3. You can do a 3-team, 6-team. We'll do a smaller league. That way it moves a little bit quicker. But I think it's still been fun talking it through. Plus, once you get to round 9 or 10, like we are talking about backups and stuff. So for this first one, we got to talk through the starters, which was good.
Yep.
So let me see. You got about, where are we at in this draft here? I'm looking for Stephen A. Smith. There he is. Baker Mayfield just went off the board. Pettis. So we were at pick 9-6, and you're picking again at 10 and 1. So a few picks left. What are you thinking? We got. I'm hitting best available at the skill spots.
Yeah,
Ebron, Vance, NKeal Harry, and Njoku, Hardman, Kiki Kuti. If you again, I don't want to hit quarterbacks because you went and took one way too high.
Nope, I'm not worried about quarterbacks right now.
So those are your best available as I read them. But anybody jump off to you or no?
I might take a gamble on Harry.
Yeah, he's the 3rd on this list. Vance McDonald just went to me as kind of a sneaky pick. Sterling Shepard went, so now you're up 30 seconds here. Ebron, Harry, and Njoku are the top 3.
What do you think, man? Let's go Harry. Let's take a gamble on him.
Yeah, I don't mind him. Let me take a quick look at your bye weeks. So he's got a 10 bye week. You're at 12, 7, 6 for your receivers, so he fits in nicely there. Yeah, I say we snag him. Top wide out. And then what's you don't have a tight end. Oh yeah, you do. OJ. What's your thoughts on Njoku? You got 20 seconds, but is he on your list at all? He's a freak.
Yeah. I think he could be something really special this year, especially with Odell spreading the outside with Landry. I think that middle's gonna be wide open for him to take it over.
You know who I'm taking for you? How about Jerick McKinnon at running back?
Let's do it.
This is another guy that got huge bank, got injured. Now there's a bunch of running backs in San Fran, but do you think that they pay him $10 million for no reason? You think he's not going to catch a ton of footballs? And he's pretty electric guy, even though like he wasn't all that in mini. But I feel like he's that value guy where you can go get him later. So yeah, now you got 4 backs, 4 receivers, your tight and your quarterback. Like to me, that's pretty solid. So for everybody out there listening, we've got Andrew Luck at quarterback, LeVeon Bell, Derrius Guice, Kerryon for our Lions fans out there. We got Jerick McKinnon. We've got Adam Thielen, boo. Odell, Allen Robinson, NKeal Harry, and OJ Howard. So I like it, man. A lot of these projected points too are pretty solid. Some good overall point projections as well as some decent depth there. I think I like to try to even it out in those skill spots. So Chuck Dog, man, for your first GM job and doing it somewhat blind, I think you did excellent, man.
All right, thank you.
So everybody out there, this is why you listen to Fantasy Football Flavor, for those kind of takes, that kind of knowledge from Chuck, with no magazine, by the way, with just my help and having some fun there. So, hey, man, we talked about a ton. I think it's time we shut the show down. You got anything else for the people?
I don't. Appreciate you guys on having me on the show again.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. We'll come back, and like I say, I might hit the people with a bonus show or two, either giving them this draft or talking about the Oakery Detroit Lions and all those draft trades and stuff I made. So thanks again, man. We'll catch you next week. Everybody out there, thank you for listening. We're gonna get out of here for the Fantasy Football Flavor right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over! What a comeback by the Lions!
Drink it in, man.